G'day and welcome to the Inforunners. I'm Execute, joined today by Algared. How you doing, mate?
Partner in crime. Fairly well. I'm alive. It's hot now. It was nice and cool this morning. It's now had to switch to the the batik shirt, but
Yeah,
give that sense of coolness.
I've had the roof installation redone in my house recently, so it's been quite cool here. I've gone from like 3 buckets a day to on like 1 bucket, and that's how much my air conditioner has to empty.
Yeah.
Yeah, only like 1 a week now, so yeah, it's I can be far more lazy, which is great. No, it's also just a lot cooler, so it's been great.
I look forward to getting a new AC at some point.
Yeah. Oh, that's an old one.
When I recover from sitcom,
Mm.
my bank balance still doesn't love me.
Oh, I haven't still got the sore foot, so yeah, I'm kind of in a different stroke. Anyway, so this is the episode 2, I guess, of us kind of going back. I should not number them, but yeah, we're doing another ship review or ship scrutiny, and we thought this time Algared picked this one, Hull C, and I guess it's the whole series you called it, but we're only really going to look at the C and the A because they're the only ones in the game, and then we'll probably talk a little bit about the others. But why did you want to do this one, mate?
Basically because the whole series has recently come into game. A whole lot has changed on the ship, and even when you do the walkthrough, you'll see that more has to change on the ship because none of the relay boxes or fuse boxes are actually in the ship either. So,
fuck off. I was inactive for too long. Wow. So they've put inactive shit in now.
Wow. That was not that long though that you were inactive.
You know what? I'm just gonna keep recording. Fuck it. We'll just keep rolling with the punches. I'm gonna go back into it and we'll just certification's fine. What was the map? Big flight. Doesn't give me the option for the map. Vehicle selection.
And you get the...
Hopefully someone at CIG sees this and allows an exception for timeout, so we can choose.
So you can actually do things a little bit more leisurely.
Yeah, why isn't it giving me the map?
The options for maps. I don't know.
It's gone.
I do like the kind of background we get in the in the Arena Commando windows now, and even the pulling up the ship that you've selected. It's quite a nice, just little touch.
Oh, that's why, because it's a bug. All right, vehicle selection. Disc, Hull C. This is how well, at least you've seen how the what do you call it? The lemonade is made. What do you call it, Algared? When you say that, there's a saying you have.
I don't know. Don't know which saying I use at this point.
You say how something is made, like when we talk about behind the scenes or whatever.
Oh, the pudding's made, or
something like that. But yeah, again, you're obviously not meant to do this. You're not meant to go into the good doctor and be able to fly around. So we're doing this a little. Maybe that's why I kicked this as well.
Maybe that's why, because
Yeah. So apologies for that. I was just sitting in this before we were ready to record, but here we are in the Hull C.
So this is the Hull C in its closed position. This is how you'd set it if it was spawning in your hangar for the first time. But it will telescope out and open up the spindles, which will take all the cargo. And it has 4 spindles, as you'll see as Execute opens it up. But this is a very old ship.
Was it back in 2014, wasn't it? I think
it was back in 2014, I believe.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is so it's got basically 8 spindles, 2 on each side or 2 on each position.
Top, bottom, left, and right.
Cargo.
Top, bottom, left, and right is what he means. If you whatever he means. Anyway, but yeah, I think that's the landmark of this whole series is the spindles and their extension thing. It's their gimmick, so to speak.
And it was that telescoping extension that really caused problems for this ship going forward. It was a technical hurdle of basically getting 2 physics grids to actually work together. And Yeah, and so that was the hardest thing with this. And when they cracked it, it actually helped them solve things like docking. And I think it even helped with, because they had docking, it also helped with the P52 docking. So there's a whole pile of run-on things that came, as I understand it, came as a result of fixing this. You can see it's got a computer box, unlike the Reclaimer, it had a whole room. This has got just a little box for computers. So
a bit smaller than its MISC Starfarer brother, so to speak. That's got like consoles on the left and right here, where you can see here they've kind of been dropped back. I don't know if I don't think this will end up being like an MFD or something. It really does just feel like a screen, doesn't it? Yeah. But you know, people complain about this view. I don't really have a problem with it. It's like, and realistically, if you break it through, like looking at something like, say, the Polaris, you just can't see up. But we have also seen some of the other ships, they also do have a window above. Like, that's what I would do. I would just add another window up there, and I think a lot of the problem would go away. But yeah, I don't know.
Change the lights from side to ones that run around the edge, and put a window if they really want it, but I've never really minded the post box slot either.
Quite large, really. Like
it is.
It's as big as what you'd get today in a modern aeroplane. You know?
Yeah,
like I think that's what people forget too.
I think part of the problem that people have with the postal slot is when you sit down in the pilot seat, the dashboard makes it seem further away, so you get this weird. It makes it feel smaller, even though it's still, the vision is quite good.
I don't have a lot of problems with this ship, but the first problem I do have is actually in this room. You know what it is because I've told you. But do you agree with what I think the problem is with this ship? Do you remember?
I don't remember, but when you talk about it, I'm going to go, of course.
It's actually the elevator.
Ah, that's right. You did talk about the elevator. You got an elevator at the front. But kind of.
Well, you've got an elevator at the front there, and then you've got a ladder over here that goes up to the second deck. Why weren't they combined and in the same spot? So if you put the elevator here, it could have stopped here and stopped up the top, and it could have gone all the way to the ground. And even if it couldn't, you could have repositioned it in such a way so it could have done.
I imagine part of it is based on the spacing around that ship as it is at the moment.
But in any ship, when they put something in the real world, it's optimized for functions of multi-use. Like, just having this come up to here is ridiculous. They would have literally had stairs outside before they had an elevator come up to here.
Yeah, look, I don't disagree, but in terms of the ship built, CIG building the shipping game, in terms of the space, like, that is a large elevator for multiple people, whereas the other location would have been smaller. But I do tend to agree. It seems just a once and done elevator, and
I do like how the components though are spread out through the ship. I don't think this one's going to be moving. I think from what I'm aware of, that's a size 3 shield, so therefore that won't be moving at all. But yeah, there's some other ships where they're not as spread out. Also 4 life pods, so take note of that as well. Let's have a quick look upstairs. Yeah, go ahead.
One thing you will notice, when we go back to the back of the ship, there is actually a single life pod for the engineer.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That was, you always want to take note of that, because I've also deliberately left it extended so you guys can see how long the tunnel is as well.
Even when it's not extended, it feels like quite a long
yeah. So personal storage for 4 people. And a toilet share. Again, with room. Hopefully the storage up the back for the last guy as well. So 4 beds. So obviously we're doing a bit of hot bunking already. Maybe the 4 are up the front. Maybe the 5th is just happens to be if there's one person up the back to escape. So they actually do live up the front. I'll have to check that.
Yeah, well, that was the impression I got. It was a 4-person ship.
But I don't know if I can show the outside from this chair, but I'm going to try, but I don't think I can from memory. But the reason I wanted to show it is the position of the tractor beams. With the 4 tractor beams. But I don't... Oh, I can. Sweet. Yeah, so you can see there... I can't do a moist point. Just behind the turret, And I'm going to flip back over to this screen so I can point with my finger. So you can see there's one on the bottom there and one just above it. And then down on Algared's end, roughly in the same spot in front of the turret there, you've got another tractor beam there. So it's actually got a lot of tractor beams on one ship. And that's so you can obviously get around it. So they can help you with loading and unloading. Plus, if the station has tractor beams or other ships are helping you, it can help with that as well. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I don't think we've seen a ship. Well, there's not many ships. I don't think I can think of another ship right now that has 2 tractor beams, let alone 4, other than the other whole series. But yeah, so that's definitely.
Yeah, I think the like the Connie was supposed to have, or the Connie Taurus was supposed to have two tractor beams on its turret. It's now just got seems to have just the big one. But
I think that would have caused
what it is.
I think that would have caused conflictions because of you firing at the same object. Yeah.
Right. But that seems to work quite well for the Taurus, and it gives you that same ability. What you see with Taurus, I think, is generally what you get with this one as well. So, in terms of that ease of moving cargo.
So this is the room I find a little funny, but again, you can see it's been designed this way for asymmetry because this is literally the mirror of the room over there, and so you can, instead of you got EVAs instead of suit lockers, you've got some more components and some more storage. It's just like, again, it's been designed for symmetry, and I think in a ship this size, you could have probably got away with not doing symmetry, but hey, I don't know as well as the CIG developers in that regard, so it could be utterly wrong. So this seems to be maintenance storage or an airlock, I guess you would call it, Algared. Is that what you see that as? But
yeah, that's like a maintenance, but also an airlock as well, because when you're extending and otherwise, but this is a very long corridor when it's extended.
You need one of those dizzy things.
On the hull D and the hull E, now that's a glitch as well. When you open it, it kind of still black, and then as you walk through, it opens up.
Whoa! Well, yeah. So there's some interior ship culling for you. Holy crap! Right. Yep. Engine room. Visually, I really like this space. It's probably the most interesting space on the ship. Let's be honest. Some cool sound effects as well. But yeah, this is all going to be the engineer space. And then again, another elevator and a ladder in the same space. And I just find that kind of weird. Like, if they can fit this into this space, why couldn't they fit it in where the ladder was?
Yeah, I actually don't mind the elevator and the ladder in this space.
I'm not fine with it here.
The ladder's kind of your emergency thing, so it's good for here. But yeah, if you
I'm fine with it being here. I'm just like, why isn't it down there as well?
Yeah. Why couldn't you have the elevator going up on the front of a ship where most people are?
But it's quite a small space, really. It's just that it happens to be double-decked. It's not a lot up here. There's your escape pod, as Algared was mentioning, for this guy, and that's it. And then really, this just goes outside. We can probably have a look at some cool-ass view, but that's about it. They used to have a balcony here too, didn't they, Algared? Not so much anymore.
I can't remember the balcony, but
it was a little balcony. It had like a little thing, and you could step out here, and they ended up removing it for the final.
But I could see once you get your grav boots.
There's that tractor beam.
Your tractor beam. Yep. Once you get your we get grav boots back, I could see the engineer, getting in his suit and walking down to the engines and doing some tweaking or major repairs if needed on those engines. But that's just me. Maybe a bit of hopium. But yeah, it's a nice large ship, and it is minuscule compared to the D&EE, which are just larger versions of this.
Yep. I think that I would agree with that. We can talk about that a little bit now since you brought it up. But yeah, essentially the D and the E are just more spindles, and I guess there'll probably be a bit more engine and a little bit more storage and a little bit more living quarters. Like, everything is just a little bit bigger on the D and the E. It's really the hull A is the most interesting one. The hull B is the most interesting one left, because, well, once we talk about the A, but we'll have to go out and come back in to talk about the A. But what the hell happened there? It's like I'm drunk and I don't want to go down the ladder.
Yeah, it's one thing with the D and E, if I remember correctly. They used to talk about the extended tunnel being big enough to drive a buggy down, and so I would hope, because it's going to be longer than the hull C's,
this endless
that
loop of ladders.
There will be a buggy or some transport system you can use.
Pray for me. Oh, we're good. Yeah. We like the Kraken's got a rail system on it. The Bengal system's got a rail system on it. Some of those bigger ships may need a bigger one on it.
Yeah. Like this is almost getting to the point you feel like you want a quicker.
Yeah, it's on the border,
method.
isn't it? But again, you got to remember, like if I, like just the last thing I guess we'll do here is I'll pack this back up and we'll land it and have a quick look at the tunnel as well. So, packing it back up. It's going to back up. Yes, I did press the right key. Cool, sweet. It's still an awesome thing to watch all this time later, just origami and...
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's how I described it when I first showed it, that it's kind of origami in space.
Yeah, so let's have a quick look at this tunnel, because you'll find it's significantly shorter now. It almost felt endless. Now look at it, it's like, what, a quarter of the distance?
Yeah.
What it was, so... And you can actually be in here while it's doing it too, so yeah, it's significantly shorter when packed up. Like, that's nothing there now. Obviously still got teething issues, that they'll fix, because again, every ship in the game is going to have more passes as they... Forever. It'll be a forever thing of maintenance, bringing these things up to date, yeah? Yeah,
well, as you notice, as you go around, there are no fuse boxes at the moment. There are no relay stations for rerouting it power. And that's something that has to be done on the ship. So...
Yeah, I bumped the mouse. Right.
Yeah.
Alright, let's reload it.
Yeah, reorientate yourself.
I have no idea what the ground below us is like, but let's find out. This could end in a fiery fireball. What's it like? Oh, there's only some trees. Alright, we'll go forward.
Only trees. You can move forward a bit, you should be right.
I think the other thing with this ship is obviously going into the next preview at CitizenCon that they showed off. The essential cargo walls is going to be an absolute boon to this series of ships. Like it's again, there are certain how do I put this? This is built for that wall, and they are building things specifically to accommodate this series of ships. And that I don't think they're doing that for too many other ships in the game. Yeah, obviously other cargo ships can use it, but this is the one that'll really benefit from that tech.
Yeah. And what looked like nice cleared ground is very rocky.
Yeah. It's a fine. All right, this will do. Somewhere near here. Boom.
A bit heavy there, but yeah. So, that's the Hull C. Like, it's a good size ship. So it's got I think how many turrets does it have? It's got...
It's
back.
Let's just have a look. Let's not even discuss it. Let's have a look.
I looked at them earlier and I just went blank. I can't remember.
Yeah, so it's got two at the top, one at the front, one at the back, and then it's got a couple of guns up the front as well on the chin. That's basically it. Most of the MISS ships that are industrial are not super gunned up, so to speak. But again, you can clearly tell with where they're designing things at the moment. Escorting is going to be a thing. All right, I'm going to drop out. We're going to have a quick look at the Hull A, which is the only other one in game that we've got right now. And then I think we can talk about the middle ground after we've done the Algared, which would be the Hull B, which we both think is probably the most interesting of setup.
Yeah, well, I think it's the most interesting because A, we know it's changing. It's changing to accommodate things they want, and the current design that it has just doesn't line up with that. So, but this one always reminds me of the Starbug from Red Dwarf.
Where is it? There we go. Right, we got it rented. Select ship. Run a good doctor. Launch. Alright, that one worked. Okay, so here is the Hull A. The little... What you call this?
The little Starbug.
The small fry of the Hull series?
Yeah. I've always thought that the Hull A had that kind of insectoid look.
Yeah, I do think they lost it a little bit, but it's mainly in the... Well, it used to be in the landing gear. Let me put that down as well.
the landing gear and the front cab, it just used to have this insectoid
Well, they kind of lost
bug
those.
look.
Yeah, they've gone for more traditional legs now, but it used to have like
Yep.
insecty, claw-like type style legs from what I remember.
Yep.
But yeah, that's not the case anymore. I think the other cases here, obviously, though it kind of looks like 4 spindles, it's really just one on the left and one on the right. So we're missing the top and the bottom.
Yep.
And me and you did discuss before the show the whole B a little bit, and our kind of surmise of what we think the middle ground's going to be, because it used to, it obviously kind of have a spindle on the bottom, is we're just thinking that you have a bigger spindle, but it's just 2 side by side and none on the top. So it's kind of halfway between this and the whole C, where the whole C has 2, but it's also got them top and bottom and left and right. This will just have 2 on either side.
Yeah, and the advantage, what makes this and the whole B so unique is the fact that you can have it fully laden and you can still land the ship. So this is a ship that's not really, it doesn't come into its own as a interplanet or a inter-system supply ship. This is a ship that really comes into its own for a space to planet, for a space station to planet delivery system.
It's also a bit sluggish though still too, even being a smaller ship, which I kind of like. It like it. Again, most ships in the game, or all ships in the game at the moment, sorry, fly like they are fully laden. So it's just kind of interesting.
And if I recall correctly, the hull A fully laden can actually land, or is supposed to be able to land, inside the Odyssey. So it becomes a really good ship for loading and offloading cargo, or bringing in supplies.
I'm not sure if it can do it while it's got all the cargo on there. that'll be a really interesting test. I'll have to give you that. To think about that one, but that would then again set it apart from the B, wouldn't it? So that would kind of somewhat make some sense. All right, let's do a bit of a ship tour. So again, this is kind of what I was talking about, like having a bit of the windows. There was a God damn it, I didn't even press the Y key. How did that happen? Yeah, again, cockpit view, somewhat similar to the others, but there is a ship, and I can't remember which one it is, but you can look up and see out. And
but if you can kind of do that with this one, with that top little slit above the main postal slip.
Yeah.
But you saw with the dashboard when you were sitting down how the dashboard kind of extends that distance you are from the window, so it gives that sense you're further away. And I know that's what a lot of people hate, but I've never really minded it. To me, it didn't really inhibit my view of what's outside.
All right, so that's it. That's the no. There's nothing to it. Like, it's so tiny.
Yeah.
No, we've got obviously got some component access, which you'd kind of expect. So it does make you a lot more self-sufficient. Suit locker, your airlock that's very small. But that's all you really need for an airlock for one person, though, right? And that's your ladder as well. So Yeah. Fortunately, we can't get out. We did have a bit of loading problems, as you probably saw. So we can't get out on this map, but at least we can still look around at the ship. Still got your toilet and stuff in here as well.
Quite a nice, it's quite for a small ship. That's quite a nice, in terms of interior of a toilet. It's quite nice.
I'd almost say it's almost on par with the Intrepid, wouldn't you? So it is to a more newer standard as well.
Yep.
You got the
small little kitchen, little fridge, cookie jar. What more could you ask for?
Yep. And it's got better kitchens than some of the others, or at least looking as well. I don't know. Mist look is not for everyone, because it does seem a little utilitarian. But then again, I've always found Mist a mid-ground manufacturer. I don't know about yourself, Algared, but they're just in the middle of the road. So yeah.
But it's got that sense of being a nice, clean, crisp. Nice, clean and crisp ship, I suppose. That's probably the best way to put it.
The only thing I probably would have liked in here, if I think about it, and I'm just going to double check. I'm pretty sure there isn't one. No, there is a suit locker. That's what I was looking for. Yeah. So this is what it does need, because you're obviously going out to manually load the cargo yourself. So yeah.
Yeah.
That's important to me. I was about to say I don't need weapons. I need a suit locker, but it's like, yeah, there is a suit locker, so I had to go double check for my own sanity. But yeah, I know there's not a lot to it. Again, imagine we're now in the whole B, Algared. What do you think is going to be different between this and the whole B?
if it ends up with the larger spindle, because you notice
Mm.
with this one you can't actually get through to the engine
Yeah.
section of the ship.
I don't think there'll be a tunnel
Um,
on the other one. I think it'll be just like this, where it's all front loaded. You think there'll be a tunnel like on the whole sea with the B?
Well, if it takes the whole, if it kind of extends double width and it makes it a longer tunnel, they may.
Mm.
And that would mean you'd have access to the engines, but I'm not sure you'll need it.
It could go either way, actually,
It
being
could
in the
go
middle
either
ground.
way.
But traditionally speaking, looking at the concepts, the whole B is a lot more like the A than like the C. So I'd assume it's more front heavy loaded, and has the two spindles like you and I suggested.
Yeah. And the thing with the B was it was basically this, but it had a dorsal and ventral spindle. If they get rid of the dorsal and ventral spindle, and which will now enable the whole B to also land fully laden, then you'd need to extend the ship, or extend the length of the ship. But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. But it does make repairing those engines a little bit more difficult if you have a problem in space, which means your suit locker becomes an essential part of kit.
It does also have the docking collar, which also kind of leans credence to the ability to reload other ships, so to speak, or resupply other ships. I think that's an important factor of these ships. I think that will be a lot of their bread and butter is going from planet to space station. I think that is their kind of dedicated role. The B is no different as well. Every time, like if you look at the whole series as a whole, across the entire board of it, you're essentially they cross each other, but as they go up, they go further and further away. And so again, the A is really surface to planet. That's things. So it stops the bigger ships having to come down. It's you know, the B goes a little bit further, but also can it land at outposts. It can also go from planet to planet, but it probably wouldn't go too much farther than that. The C is really, you know, a little bit leaning a little bit on the B, but also going interplanetary, but possibly going maybe through a wormhole and one over, but that's about it. And then you go to the D and the E, and it's going mega distances or mega systems and stuff like that. And that's where most of the sheer amount of cargo on that E is absolutely insane. Like someone said in our live stream today was they were reiterating the cost of the fully laden cargo. It costs more for cargo than it costs for the entire ship. So you're going to be escorting, those bigger ships. I'd say at least C and up will almost mandatory be escorted, and I'd probably say that there would be times even a B would be escorted depending on where it's taken that cargo. But it just shows I really love the versatility of this series of ships, and we're starting to see it across the board, not just on these ones. But
if I remember correctly, the concept artist was only asked to do the whole C.
Yeah,
and I think it was Ryan Church is the name that rings a bell. I don't know whether it was Ryan Church, but they were only asked to do the C, but they came back with a whole plethora of.
And they went, "We're making them all,"
and they said, "Yep, we're doing more." But I think that was the right choice by CIG. It showed that progression of utility van all the way up to your road train. And it's just something that I've got to admit I do like. And like you said, with the D and the E, that multi-system, you can almost see them loading up and then doing a loop between half a dozen systems to
do think
to load up.
Eventually, way down the line, like when they start doing double ups and stuff like that, I think we hopefully may see some competition to this ship. Like I've got to imagine at some point the Cyan or the Banu may have a competitor that works with this, and I mean a direct competitor is an external loading. You know, those walled surfaces and stuff like that. And again, they did kind of mention at Nix that when they showed that off at CitizenCon, that these ships will get a priority for those walled loading and unloading, which is obviously going to be what exterior loading is loading onto those walls, a little bit like what you saw with the what was it, the building the space station. They had a wall thing as well for that. So it's obviously a feature that they've planned for a long time, and I'm hoping, fingers crossed, by that point that the raft is up and operational and we can actually start using that thing as a sky crane as well. Because unloading and loading these things are not going to be a short process. Already loading and unloading with a single hand tool. I've seen people do missions. I've seen a guy doing it, right, and it was automatic. It was going to be 8 minutes and like 9 seconds, and then when I can't remember the gentleman's name. He did a YouTube video about it, and I would mention him if I could remember. And then he actually did it by hand in 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So
look, I've had half a dozen boxes on the Vulture. And moving them into the hangar, and each trip is 2 or 3 minutes because
long story short, it's
like
people that say that we're crazy that the rafters are sky crane. Well, I would counteract you and say I think you're crazy to think that these are not going to have special unloading ships or unloading tractor beams and things like that. It just makes the game take far too long otherwise. There's a reason why the 32 SU containers are kind of like built for this ship.
Yeah. When you consider that the Argo MPUV in law is used by hull C owners, is purchased by hull C owners to help with loading and unloading, to have the Argo raft there as a sky crane, I don't think is insane. I just think it's an extension of that and building on that idea. So.
Gotta be honest, I always kind of hoped in a weird turn of phrase, and I don't like this is a pie in the sky thing, and they've never talked about it. But I would have liked to have like a mini attachment. I don't want a hanger on the whole C or the D or the E, but just an attachment point somewhere externally that has, like, how they had the balcony that we were talking about before, somewhere up near there or below there where you can essentially attach the Argo MPUV to take with you.
Kind of like the Serenity's shuttles clamp on the side, and
even less than that, even less than what the Connie's got with the Merlin. Just literally almost like a grav plate that just attaches it. Just like a magnetic attachment area, so you can take an MPUV with you if you wish. And it's not protected. It doesn't need to be protected. It's cheap. It's expendable. It just allows you to carry it and not take up cargo space. Essentially,
I would like to see that or something like that. On the C, on the D, and the E.
Maybe not the C, because I think you've got to have some subtractions, but the D and the E, absolutely.
The only reason I say the C is because in the law, whole C owners would own...
Okay, I'll give you that.
MPUVs to help with loading and unloading. So where are they are they keeping it at their station they're going to be mainly going to?
I would say that the raft is probably then, I guess, more tailored at the D and the E. So yeah, you're probably right now I think about it, yeah.
But yeah, I agree. I'd like to see some sort of thing where you could actually have that just to help with your own loading and unloading.
What would you like to hear in the comments below, Algared, from people that are watching?
What do you hope the Hull B will end up being like, and as they make it so it can land? Do you think they'll double the spindles? Do you think they'll do something else?
I think for me, it's the future of cargo. I think this is. Like, if hauling is your jam, this is kind of where it's going to be at. And I think some people are a little scared about escorting and stuff, but it's always been there, always been planned. And I think it will be really a lot more exciting than people think, because there is a danger element to, I am relying on other people to do my job, but they are working with me so we can all make a buck. And I think that there's a cool gameplay in that. And I think it's a little underrated for a lot of people. But yeah, cargo is the bread, like logistics of the, like, how do the military guys put it? It's something along the lines of like an army lives and dies on its logistic chain. It's something like that. Is the wording that they use.
But if you got a Hull D or a Hull E, and they carry more cargo basically than the ship's worth, you could probably have, allow your escort to have 3 or 4 boxes worth of cargo space.
They're a part of the crew, man.
It's basically part of a crew,
Yeah, if you're going in with 10 people, you all get a 10-way split after cost. That's just how I'm going to be doing it. Like, there's no ifs, buts, maybes. Like, as long as you're all doing the same. Like, if the guys on the ship are doing 10 times as much work and the guy's just sitting out there leaning on his shovel, that might be a little different. But you are there, alert and attentive, and again, let's be honest, it's going to be a social thing a lot of the time. So we'll have to see how that rolls out. But,
and you might have an escort, and 3 times out of 4, he might be sitting there just flying around doing nothing. But then, they might be flying around doing nothing. But then there'll be that one time when